More is none other than Missouri State Representative, my very good friend, Bryan Spencer. Bryan, welcome to the Annie Fry Show.
Thank you. First time on the show. It's great.
Yeah, see, I won't let you on my show.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've done. I thought we were friends.
No, we'll have you back on the Tim Jones Show sometime soon, Bryan. But
soon by meaning this century?
Very possibly. Very possibly.
Good.
So, Bryan,
were
you as amazed as I was to hear the Democrats say they're actually going to take something away from America, and not just a little thing, and not just something a few Americans have. Over half the country has private health insurance, and most people are happy as clams with it because they have an arrangement, most people with their employers. It's a benefit. You got some co-pays and things, but I know I've had private health insurance my entire career because I've always worked very hard and made sure that was part of my benefits package, and my wife and my daughters are very happy with it because, when you have little kids, you're always in and out of the doctor's offices. To hear these people say that I am no longer going to have the choices that I currently have, then I'm going to have to wait in lines and things. It's really shocking, isn't it?
Well, it's not shocking because you said the key word work. They're always taking away from those who work and give it to those who don't work. So, it's not shocking that the Democrats want to take something away from those who actually work.
Yeah, and Bryan, you are a state representative in a state that has a balanced budget requirement in its constitution, like most of the 50 states, or I guess if you're Barack Obama, 57 states in the nation. So for a fact that money doesn't grow on trees because you all in Jefferson City know that there is a limited pot of money that has to be allocated each and every year.
And I serve on the budget committee, so I get to dive into page after
it for
page.
Real.
Yeah, the stack of books are above my waist if you stack them on the floor. But we can't just create money, and if we want to give more money to an organization or a group or a service, we have to take money away from some other group or service.
Do Democrats ever have a solution to a problem that doesn't involve just throwing more money at it? Do they ever have a solution that comes up like a substantive thing, like we should make government do this better or that better, or give the people more freedom and liberty? Or is it, or in Jefferson City, is it still just throw money at the problem and it'll hopefully go away?
Well, more money to the programs, or they like to throw money at groups of people who will study the problem. So we're really good at putting commissions together to study problems.
Or I bet give money to people who they know will vote for them and keep them in office.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
Right.
We want to keep them in office, so therefore we want to buy our votes by giving people money.
So, Bryan, before we get into some other substantive policy issues, I want to talk about something that's more important than all of this, and that's the fact that you lost a House colleague this week, and it's somebody that folks maybe in our listening area may not be a household term. But I knew this woman very well. Her name is Rebecca Raber. She was a Missouri State Representative who was a great lady, and I knew her as a champion for children. She had suffered a horrific car accident last session, months ago, and we thought she had recovered, and apparently she passed away in her sleep on a family vacation, which is just so sad, but we know she's in a better place now. Tell us, Bryan, I didn't serve with her. You have. Tell the folks a little bit about Rebecca Raber and how great she was for the Missouri legislature.
So Rebecca Raber, we served together on the education committee. She is a teacher that came straight from the classroom right to the Missouri House. So she was right in the trenches, knowing the issues, public school teacher, and she advocated very strongly that parents are the ultimate decision maker of a child's education.
This was a teacher.
Teacher, correct. In the trenches teacher.
I should have mentioned you're a techer, too.
I am a teacher. Matter of fact, this morning I was setting up my classroom.
Why are there not more of you? Why do so many of the folks that go into the legislature? Let me say this. I bet you there's a lot of teachers out there that believe like you and Rebecca do, but the ones that seem to get, elected into office, the few that get elected in office typically choose the Democratic side, and they advocate for what the union wants them to do, not what the parents want them to do.
Correct. And, one of the things that Rebecca and I worked on, we worked on finding a solution for children with dyslexia. And, this is one of the things that, you have the parents that have dyslexic kids come up there. But when you talk about the teacher organizations, such as the unions and different such, since there was no money involved and no control involved, they were completely silenced. So it had, they get involved when things deal with money and control. If it has something to do with the kids, I don't see them getting involved.
Representative Spencer, as I've traveled the country the last 5 years, as I've been out of office, I have learned that most states are ahead of Missouri on educational reforms and educational choice. And that's true for blue states and red states. California, of all places, has more educational choice for parents and children than the state of Missouri. Florida and Texas are huge leaders. This was a major hallmark of Governor Jeb Bush's governorship. He continues to fight for this in the private sector. What is it about red Missouri that is so good on so many other issues like tax policy and labor reforms and tort reform and taxes? We are like near the bottom of the barrel on education, innovation, and choice. What is wrong with us in that arena?
Well, what's wrong with us is, in a lot of the different districts that they have, the largest employer is the school district. And so they're the ones that are controlling those legislators. So if you want to get reelected or get elected, you're going to have to bow down to the wishes of the largest employer, which happens to be the school, and therefore no change is how they like it. So
it's especially in the rural areas, right? It's all about Friday night lights, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and isn't that really a false choice? It's really a paper tiger, right? Because educational choice does not harm local public education.
No, and we haven't had any type of real education reform for 30, 40 years. And then my course access bill finally made it to the finish line.
Tell us a little bit about that. What will that? I know that was a small step forward, but I think in Missouri, if you pass anything under this umbrella, it's a significant step forward.
I mean, when on the education committee, we did things like change the word guidance counselor to school counselor.
No, big reforms.
Yeah, big reforms like that. But course access is basically it allows a student to take a course that's not offered in the brick and mortar, that takes away the zip code of education. So a kid can decide, Francis Howell was one of the school districts that offered Mandarin Chinese. So if you wanted to take Mandarin Chinese and you weren't in the Francis Howell school district, you would have to not take something else like Spanish or something like that. And course access allows you to pick and choose courses that are more adaptable to your learning or your career pathway, your interest, and you take them online. So you just show up to second hour and you're at a computer lab and you take those courses online. Now, the other people in the classroom may be taking other classes than you.
You mentioned eliminating zip codes, and that's something I talk about all the time, in that it's really not, you can't say we have free public education in this state where it's not fair. We don't have free, fair public education in this state because kids that are born into unaccredited or provisionally accredited or challenging or let's just say terrible school districts, they're enslaved. They are shackled to that zip code.
They're trapped.
And isn't it funny that white Republican guys like you and I, who live out in very different electorates, seem to be more concerned about the issues of urban America than the Democrats who control those areas?
Correct. And I don't know. I don't have anything to add to that.
But yet we're the racists, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, all I want to do, I don't care about a person's skin suit that they're wearing. I just care about, good quality product that we're delivering that is adaptable to the child's individual needs.
Speaking of issues with school districts, my understanding is that you're in a little battle right now with the Wentzville School District. What is that all about?
Well, I tried to stay out of other political subdivisions and allow them to take care of their stuff. But when I first got elected, I had a superintendent who implemented Common Core without any type of vote of the board members. So I had to get involved, and that superintendent resigned. And then the next thing you know, we're electing a felon to the Wentzville School Board, so I had to get involved, and I had to change the law to keep felons from the school board. And now...
These all sound like common sense things.
Correct. So now what we have 7 school board members.
Okay.
And 5 of them are former teachers, or current principals of another school district that's neighboring. So there's 5 educators, and they're running this board.
It's like the fox guard in the hen house.
Correct. And then you have 2 school board members, one Republican and one Democrat, that are from the community.
Okay.
And one's a Democrat, one's a Republican, and the Democrat disagreed with the 5 and they are trying to hush these two from speaking out. They do all kinds of crazy things. First of all, they get a packet of information that they're going to have to study before the board meeting. They get that 24 hours ahead of time.
Okay.
These two individuals have to have written questions. They're not allowed to ask questions during the board meeting. They have 48 hours to write these questions down, even though they don't get the packet until.
So these are two school board members that are being treated in a lawyer term, we'd say disparate manner, in a different way than all the other school board members?
Correct.
It's like a second-class citizen of school board member?
Correct. And so what has happened, one of them, the Democrat school board member that's a regular townsperson, spoke out in disagreement, and one of the five hens chased him down, got in their face. He's like, the meeting's over, I'm going home. Mm-hmm. And then so they had another meeting, that just included the five. They didn't post the meeting, so we got a violation of sunshine law.
Sunshine law violation.
And so they only invited the five, and they didn't invite the other two.
So I'm going to guess that the two school board members who you're talking about, who are being treated differently, generally don't toe the NEA Teachers Union party line.
Correct, and they aren't a rubber stamp for the superintendent.
So it's shocking that they would be in trouble with the rest of the majority. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and so the president of the board is a current principal in a neighboring school district, and the other four are teacher related. So
we'll talk about where this might be heading when we come back. And I also want to get into, with you, Representative Bryan Spencer, some issues that you may be working on for next year. Is next year your last year in the Missouri House?
it is.
But we won't see the last of you, will we?
No.
So we'll talk about Representative Spencer's plans and what he's got in the years ahead in his public service here on the Annie Fry Show. It's Tim Jones in for Annie Fry. Happy Thursday, and thanks for